So as I said in my post-match podcast, I thought we were very average on the day. Like I said, I think the conditions weren't great. To be fair to Bulldog, I said it afterwards. They've got a few good players in. To be fair to them, that's made them a lot stronger. I thought they circulated the ball well at times. I think they played the conditions quite well. From our perspective, as I said, I thought we looked leggy. I didn't think we looked our usual self. I thought, from my perspective, we seemed a yard off it. And sometimes that can happen when you've had a spate of games. Obviously, we were unfortunate we couldn't train in the week that led from Crawley to the game. So sometimes you can get that leggy side of things. From our perspective, it's about regrouping tonight. But from the game itself, as I said, I thought it was flat. I thought the way the lads turned up was flat. I thought a couple of them turned up. I think they were a little bit looking at surfaces, looking at various bits like that. And like I keep saying to our lads, we're tier 9 of football. We've got no divine right to play on carpets every single week. I think the next 2 months is going to be a real challenge for us in terms of we're going to have to do the ugly side, and we have to do the ugly side well. And I thought we did that really well last season in terms of with a younger group, less experienced. But I thought that while sometimes last year wasn't the prettiest, I thought we were effective at what we did. And I think this year we just kind of keep getting caught in that little bit of limbo. And there's a balance. There's a balance you've got to strike. We've played out through the thirds relentlessly through a lot of the season. And whilst it's great at times and whilst it looks fantastic, what we've also got to remember is, I appreciate there's a demand on us playing a certain way. I get all that, but for me, all I care about is winning. And I'll challenge anybody that tells me winning's not important, because I will say it, style over substance, substance over style. Which one do you prefer? And like I always say, football's an entertainment business. I get that, but if you don't win enough games, then inevitably you don't achieve anything. As a manager, you don't achieve anything. As a team, you don't achieve anything. As a club, you'll be stuck at this level again next season. So we've got to get back to winning ways. If that means at times that we've got to play a little bit more in the opposition half, then so be it. Because with all due respect, our ability or lack of ability to play out against Tring and the Vars is the reason we're no longer in the Vars. They pressed the life out of us and we were reckless with the ball. So you can't have it both ways. If we're going to play a certain way, what we've got to just make sure that first and foremost we do is get back to winning. That's all I care about. We're playing St Panteleimon obviously on Saturday, and that's the most important thing for me now as we win. And I must give credit to Bulldog. As I said, I thought they played some good stuff. We're stood in front of the camera. We've all got to keep a line of perspective, especially me, to remember where we were this time last year. We're a long way ahead of where we were this time last year. I don't think the club's ever seen 8th for a long time. So for us to be 8th with loads of games in hand is progress. Is it where I want us to be? Of course it isn't. But only we will know in the next few months whether that was a very good point on Monday or whether it was a disappointing point. But as I said, I don't ever stand in front of the camera with an arrogance to turn around and go, well, we've got to Bulldog, we must win. No. That's not the way we operate, and it's not the way I work. You have to work hard at every single game this year. And did we do enough to win the game? No, I stand by that. I think we were bang average. I think Bulldog, to be fair to them, played pretty well. On reflection of chances, yeah, we've had some good chances. So have they. We've had probably a couple of the better chances in all fairness. But as I said, probably a 1-1 draw overall in the end was a fair result, and we move on to the next one. So we're assessing a couple tonight. Terence is starting his rehab now, so we're hopeful we'll be able to get him back in a few weeks with a bit of luck. So again, we'll see how he goes. Certainly it'd be great to get him back. We've missed his tenacity, we've missed his energy, and we've just missed him in general, to be honest with you. So it'd be great to get him back. We get an opportunity tonight. We've got 4 or 5 returning that I think need a workout. I think they need to be pushed a little bit harder now, because obviously with our games for the last few weeks, they're a little bit behind in terms of match sharpness. And we've got players now putting people under pressure. And the most important thing, as I said earlier on in my notes, is to win. Now that might mean that the selection might look a little bit different. Human nature, with any time you look at results that don't go, if you draw a game or you lose a game, it seems to be that there's a crisis for so many these days. But human nature is to go out and try, do we go and get a load of new players in? Well, I believe the solutions sit with where we have. So at the next 4 or 5 weeks, it's down to the players to justify why they should be here. Players will get opportunities. The squad will be rotated at times, for just the simple fact that we want to keep players fresh. So we've got to look at a few tonight. We'll have a little look at what the team's going to look like on Saturday. I think the team will look slightly different. But like I said before, I'm not going to be making wholesale changes. There's not going to be 11 new faces lining up on on Saturday. I believe in the squad that we've got. I think we've got a good talented group. We've got to remember, you know, we've still got your likes of Carl Faulkner, who was smashing goals in prior to getting GBH'd out there. So hopefully we'll get him back soon. And we're starting to get some nice little partnerships going. Kelvin and Webby seem to be doing well between them. So the most important thing for us, as I said, is to just make sure that we persevere with what we have. And if in 4 or 5 weeks it's not where we need it to be, then we'll have no problems freshening it up, that's for sure. So third time we've played them in a couple of months. Obviously one in the league, one in the cup, both were a draw. So I suppose a lot of people would probably be looking at that one as a draw. We certainly won't be setting up for a draw. They're a good side. As I said, when you look at some of the quality they've got, you know, throughout their team, they've got some very, very good technical players in the middle of midfield. They've got, you know, front players that can hurt you. And the most important thing for us, as I said, with any single week is we prepare and we put ourselves against them and back ourselves against them. Ultimately, you know, I always say, how much do you believe in your philosophy if you think that you've got to change for the opposition all the time? That's not the way we're going to go about Saturday. So we're going to be very much on the front foot. It's a home game. It's the first time we've played them on grass. But like we know, if you don't defend properly against these, if you're not robust at the back, if you're careless, if you're reckless, they've got the capabilities to go and put 4 or 5 on you. So we know that first and foremost, we need to make sure that we're solid at the back, starting from Connor, get our defensive structure and out of possession stuff right. But then in possession, we've got to be a little bit more free. We've got to be bolder. I think we've got to play on the front foot a little bit more, and that might be where we start to look at certain individuals, certain partnerships, certain combinations. And as I said, the key for us is we've got to make sure that we start converting some of the chances that we're getting, because there's been 3 or 4 games now where we've had multiple chances and haven't buried them, and that's not an indictment on the front two. That's right across the board. You know, from set pieces, we've got to start doing better. We're a big side, but we're not punching our sides enough. So they're things that we'll be looking at tonight, looking to tweak. But it's a tough game. I've got to be honest. In my opinion, it's as tougher test as we're going to face all season. So we've got to make sure, as I said, we do what we do. Come out and hopefully we'll be celebrating the 3 points. And this, you know, we'll look back on the last 3 games. I think if you look at it and go 7 points out of 3 isn't a disaster. 4 points from 3 isn't good enough. So we know that we've got to make sure that we return 3 points on Saturday and give us a chance to start kicking up that table.